viewers. Well, the BTC elections are finally over. The results are out. The verdict is here. The UPPL, BJP, GSP, and now even the Congress MLCA who just joined the BJP are all set to be a part of the new council. But probably the performance of the UPPL was not up to the mark, was not per expectations. Also, another thing that we should note is that Hagrama Mohilari, the BPF chief, cannot be ruled out just yet. So, does the results of this recently concluded BTC elections change the political equations a bit, tweak the political equations a bit? Will there be new permutations and combinations post the result? What do the results indicate? To discuss this and much more, I am being joined from Guwahati by Mr. Dwijen Sharma, Senior Congress Leader. A very warm welcome to you, sir, to Bottom Line. Mr. Pramod Swami of the BJP spokesperson also joins me. Warm welcome to you, Pramod Swami. Abhinab Borbora, political commentator, is also on the panel. If I can go to Mr. Dwijen Sharma first, sir. Well, the Congress AIUDF alliance at least did not click in BTR. Will that force a rethink? Even though the party is saying that the alliance has not been decided, nothing is official, but still, your state president Ripun Bora was openly campaigning with Mr. Badruddin Ajmal in BTR, and that has clearly not yielded results. The AIUDF drew blank. The lone Congress candidate has now shifted to the BJP. So, well, what is the Congress's mantra ahead?
No, actually, this alliance with UDF is not yet finalized by the Congress party. It was in discussion stage, and this BTR arrangement was a local arrangement that has been done with the AIUDF. Now, question is, our alliance is finalized by the Congress High Command, and it is not yet finalized. That is true. And we contested for a long time. Congress was not so strong in BTR area because we had alliance with BPF at that time. Congress government, BPF was with us. And now, in this election, we fought only 13 seats, and we together fought with AIUDF. They had 7 seats, and we could get only. It was not a good result, I agree. I admit that Congress could not show a good result in BTR election, but it does not mean that Congress will go back. It is a place where Congress had strong base earlier. There are a lot of Congress leaders from this BTC area earlier, famous leaders like Uttam Brahmo, Rupnath Brahmo, then Ranendranath Bosumotari, Dharanidhar Bosumotari.
Don't you think that makes it a cause of bigger concern? Once you had a base, now it's been almost reduced to nothing. Again, another wake-up call probably for the Congress just ahead of the assembly elections, Mr. Sharma.
Yes. We admit that is a wake-up call for Congress party, and Congress party with new vigor and strength, they will work there. We will strengthen our organization, we will work there. Defeat in an election cannot stop Congress party in working for people, in working in a place. We lost many elections after formation of Congress party. But it does not mean that Congress will be finished. Congress will be always there, and we will work hard. Our party workers will work hard. One man can go, but it does not matter. And we believe, we have firm faith on our ideology, and we will fight with these communal forces on our ideological stand.
Mr. Pramod Swami.
This is our today's.
Yeah, point taken. Mr. Pramod Swami, well, जैसा कि शायद से सोचा था बीजेपी ने वैसा शायद से हुआ नहीं. जैसे हग्रामा मोहिलारी को जिस तरीके से अटैक्स हो रहे थे या बीपीएफ को लोगों ने सोचा था, नॉट जस्ट बीजेपी, ऑलमोस्ट एवरीवन थॉट कि द बीपीएफ इज डन एंड डस्टेड, बट वो नहीं हुआ. तो क्या ये अब चेंज कर सकता है इक्वेशंस फॉर द 2021 पोल्स?
नहीं, देखिए, हमने जो कैंपेनिंग की वो हमारी कैंपेनिंग थी बीसीडीसी राजत्व के विरोध में, और जो करप्शन वहां जो हो रहा था उसके विरोध में। परिवर्तन के लिए हमने लोगों से वोट मांगा था, और हमारी मात्र एक सीट थी वहां पर, और हमें 9 सीटें वहां
No
मिली।
doubt, no
और
doubt. Success for BJP, no doubt. Yeah, go ahead.
हाँ, तो मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि ये परिवर्तन के लिए वोट था, और इसीलिए आज जो हमारी जो सरकार है, जो हम लोग वहां सरकार बनाने जा रहे हैं, यूपीपीएल और जनशक्ति के साथ मिल करके ये सरकार हम बनाने जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि वोटों लोगों ने जो जनादेश दिया है, जो मैंडेट दिया है, वो मैंडेट दिया परिवर्तन के लिए। दूसरी बात, यहाँ जो मुख्य जो विपक्षी दल जो कांग्रेस और एआईडीएफ जो है, उन्होंने भी मिलकर के चुनाव लड़ा, लेकिन आप देखिए गोस्वामी जी, आज उनकी क्या दुर्गति हुई है कि मात्र सिर्फ एक सीट उनको मिली है। इसकी वजह क्या है? इसकी वजह यह है कि ये बात डीजेम दावी आइडियोलॉजी की बात कर रहे थे, लेकिन इनकी कोई आइडियोलॉजी नहीं है। इनकी आइडियोलॉजी सिर्फ अपीजमेंट की आइडियोलॉजी है, और उस अपीजमेंट की आइडियोलॉजी को अब पूरे भारत वर्ष में देश की जनता अस्वीकार कर रही है। और आसाम की जनता ने भी बीटीसी चुनाव में इस बात को साबित कर दिया है कि जो मियां म्यूजियम की बात करने वाले हैं, जो पाकिस्तान
नहीं, वो ठीक है,
जिंदाबाद की
वो
बात
ठीक
करने
है,
वाले
वो
हैं,
ठीक है।
नहीं, मैं एक मिनट में अपनी बात खत्म कर देता हूं। जो फॉरेन फंडिंग फ्रॉम रेडिकल इस्लामिक ग्रुप से जो लेने वाली जो शक्तियां हैं, सत्र की माटी पर कब्जा करने वाली जो शक्तियां हैं, काजीरंगा की माटी पर कब्जा करने वाली से जो शक्तियां हैं,
And
उनके विरोध में
I think
जनादेश दिया
you
गया
know
है।
this
उनके विरोध
Pramod
में
Swami
जनादेश
was
है।
till yesterday he was in Congress party, and today he is in BJP. So he is a idealistic man. We have to admit that, because he was
मैं
till
कहा था
yesterday
ये
in
आज का
Congress
विषय नहीं
party.
है,
He is
ये आज का
spokesperson
विषय
of
नहीं
the
है।
Congress party
आपकी
and now
नीतियां गलती थी, इसलिए
spokesperson
तो
of
हमने छोड़ दिया आपको
BJP.
ना। और मैं तो
So
आज नहीं छोड़ा,
that
मैंने तो
ideals we
विधानसभा
don't
चुनाव के
belong.
पहले ही छोड़ दिया।
We don't
आज
belong
आज
that
आप
ideals.
आप
हम
डिस्कस
लोग का
करिए
ये
आज के
आइडियोलॉजी
विषय के
नहीं
ऊपर।
Well,
है
you put
मेरे ऊपर में
जो
डिस्कस करने को फायदा नहीं है आपको।
पार्टी
प्रमोद,
बदलना और दूसरा पार्टी के रूलिंग पार्टी में जाना, ये हम लोग का आइडियोलॉजी नहीं है।
Pramod. Okay, we'll connect once again to Mr. Pramod Swami. Abhinab Borbora, the same question
लोकेश,
to you, the
है
same
लोकेश,
the same question to you, Abhinab Borbora. Will the results of the BTC polls, can they tweak the equations, political equations in Assam ahead of the assembly elections?
Okay. Okay. So if you see Nabarun over the past few years, BJP's approach towards the BTR region was one that involved them juggling both major allies. If you see through the BTR accord, one of the political objectives that the BJP realized was to create a competing political force in the region. Now, what objective did it achieve? On one hand, it now gives BJP a way to rein on and balance the BPF. Because if you know, BJP surely remembers how the BPF pulled out of the Torun Gogoi, the Congress government alliance, in spite of the fact that in 2011, when the Congress won 78 seats, even then the Torun Gogoi led government kept the BPF as allies and gave them ministerial berths in the government. But despite that, as you know, Hagrama pulled out of the alliance in the last moment and switched sides and joined the BJP led alliance. In order to prevent such a casualty, now the BJP has a competing ally that can be used to balance the BPF. Number one. Number two, when we talk about political implication, the clearest and objective political implication is that today in the BTR, we have BJP emerging as a major player.
Absolutely, no doubt about
Now,
that.
if you see, there are around 10 to 11 seats in the region, and in these seats now, from now onwards, BJP would remain not only as a leading contender, but in Boro politics, BJP would always remain as the balancing act between the BPF and the UPPL. Now, this is a major development because I think since the time the PTCA was formed, this is the first time that in the Boro politics, we have a national party that can now act as a balancing force between other competing local parties. At the same time, the other political implication depends on whether not the BPF would pull out of the alliance. For that, we'll have to wait. And in the due course of the discussion, probably I'll also share my opinions regarding that.
Absolutely. Dwijen Sharma, without doubt, you have to accept that the BJP, despite the UPPL's numbers or the BPF's numbers, the BJP has been the gainer, the probably the real winner in a way in BTR. Congress, on the other hand, has been left introspecting. My direct question to you is that, if at all the Congress is still very strongly considering an alliance with the AIUDF, will the results in BTR play in its mind, or do you think the assembly elections are a completely different ball game? We cannot possibly relate the two.
No, I have already said that alliance with UDF is not finalized. It was in the earlier stage, it was in discussion stage. But we have not finalized any alliance with UDF till now. So it will be decided by the Congress High Command, and we will see every pros and cons of political situation in Assam before finalizing any alliance. But we are in favor of grand alliance with other parties also, not only UDF. There are other parties to defeat BJP. Congress will
Are you hinting at the newer parties again? Are you hinting at the newer parties, be it the AJP? Are you hinting at the newer parties?
Maybe newer parties also, and there are other parties also, old parties also, who are willing to come with Congress party. So we will certainly think for a grand alliance in Assam to defeat BJP in 2021. That is our policy. And people are blaming us that we have had alliance with UDF already. We don't have alliance with UDF till today. Only it is in discussion stage. And there are some other parties also who have come for alliance with Congress party. And that will be finalized by the Congress High Command. That is the position of Congress
yes,
party.
Yes, Abhinab
today.
Borbora.
Of course, I admit that.
Go ahead.
I admit that Congress could not show good result in BTR election. That I admit.
Yes, yes, Pramod Swami, Abhinab Borbora. Pramod Swami first, very quickly.
अभी द्विजेन दा ने कहा कि अलायंस फाइनलाइज नहीं हुआ है. अगर अलायंस फाइनलाइज नहीं हुआ है तो रिपुन बोरा साहब एक ही हेलीकॉप्टर में बैठ करके सभाओं को कैसे बदरुद्दीन साहब के साथ संबोधित कर रहे थे, इस बात का जवाब ये देंगे? ये नहीं दे पाएंगे. दूसरी बात, 2019 के चुनाव में बदरुद्दीन साहब ने सिर्फ 3 कैंडिडेट दिए थे लोकसभा में.
प्लीज रेस्पॉन्ड. द्विजेन शर्मा, प्लीज रेस्पॉन्ड.
Yes, मैं हिंदी में बोलता हूँ because Pramod Swami is speaking in Hindi. So for his convenience मैं हिंदी में बोलता हूँ. जो रिपुन बोरा जो गया, ये local arrangement था, earlier arrangement, and that he has obeyed. That was decided earlier for joint campaigning in BTR election, and that has been obeyed by the Congress party. That has not been finalized for 2021 election. That is not the final alliance.
2019 में जब लोकसभा चुनाव हुआ था, उस समय में बदरुद्दीन साहब ने कहा था, उन्होंने मात्र 3 सीटों पे लोकसभा में कैंडिडेट दिए थे और उनको आशा थी कि कांग्रेस अन्य सीटों पे नहीं देगी. और जब कांग्रेस ने बरपेटा और धुबड़ी में जब कैंडिडेट दे दिए तो बदरुद्दीन साहब ने कहा था कि हमारा एएसी से समझौता हुआ था, लेकिन हमारे साथ धोखाधड़ी हुई है. तो इनको तो बदरुद्दीन साहब ने 2019 के लोकसभा में
बदरुद्दीन साहब is a friend of BJP earlier. and he was very close to Himanta Biswa Sarma. Pramod Swami should know, he was in Congress at that time, and he criticized Badruddin Ajmal at that time that he had link with BJP.
Well,
So
that
it
is
is not all.
far-fetched. That is
And
far-fetched.
now-
That is far-fetched. Abhinab Borbora wants to come in. Abhinab, very quickly.
Yes, just give me some time. Breaking away from this heated political exchange between the political leaders, I want to say that it is not because of the alliance and supposed negative perception that it created that the Congress AIUDF actually failed to perform. I think at one level the alliance was a good tactical move. But the problem is that voters either vote idealistically or tactically. Now, the minority voters whom the Congress and the AIUDF thought they would target, seeing that the UPPL is gaining an advantage, they decide to shift their votes overwhelmingly in favor of the BPF because they know that if they vote for the AIUDF Congress combined, they might able to help it to some extent. But it is only the BPPF who has the capacity to win the council. So it's not as if that the alliance created a negative impression. In a way, I still believe that it was a good alliance, it was a good tactical move. But we'll have to understand voting behavior. The minorities voted tactically and overwhelmingly voted in favor of the BPF
So
because
does
the
it also mean in a
UPPL
way,
is perceived to represent an aggressive Boro interest. That is why minority populations across the region are extremely apprehensive.
does it also mean in a way that despite there being a sizable minority population in BTR, despite that, both the Congress and AIUDF have not been taken as serious players, and that's why, as you mentioned, the votes shifted well to the BPF.
See, I think you'll have to understand how the politics of the BTC has unfolded. Today, we'll have to give due credit to the BJP
Absolutely,
that
that's my exact point.
once
If
in
BJP
power,
can, if BJP can,
they have actually pushed inside the party organization inside the region. But if you see from 2003-4 onwards, when the Congress was actually having an extremely cordial relation with the BPF, the party organization, it did not do anything to develop a party organization out there, and the party organization completely got flushed out of the region.
point taken.
So today they are
Dwijen Sharma, what is the way forward for the Congress? What is the way forward from the Congress in Assam? Not much time left for the assembly elections. Very quickly.
No, actually, you see, this minority vote shifting to BPF in BTC election, that is because of this, because of huge appearance of Himanta Biswa Sarma, his massive campaign, they, out of fear, they decided to vote for BPF because they thought that Congress may not come, and so we should take shelter of BPF.
Congress
It is
may
out
not
of
come.
fear.
Congress not being
That
taken
will
as a
not
serious
happen in-
player.
No. You see,
So-
now Congress think that this will not happen in 2021 assembly election, and we will go for a grand alliance, and our principle will be to defeat BJP with other non-communal parties,
Pramod
progressive
Swami-
parties, secular parties. That
Okay.
will be this.
Okay, Pramod Swami, last words, running out of time, very quickly.
मैं द्विजेन दास से एक बात कहना चाहूंगा कि आज जितनी भी स्वायत्त शासी परिषद है, ऑटोनॉमी काउंसिल है, वहां हर जगह में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनी है। आज बीटीसी इलाके में इन्होंने कहा, मेरे को मालूम है कांग्रेस का भी अलायंस था, लेकिन आप वहां संगठन कांग्रेस का
ठीक
खड़ा
है,
नहीं कर पाए।
कांग्रेस ठीक है। लास्ट वर्ड्स बीपीएफ जैसा सोचा था बहुत लोगों ने, बीपीएफ हैज नॉट बीन राउटेड, सो क्या बीजेपी के मन में एक शंका होगा कि 21 को अलायंस करे ना करे? इज दैट पॉसिबली द ओनली सेटबैक फॉर द बीजेपी इन द बोरो हार्टलैंड? अदरवाइज इट हैज बीन अ ग्रेट परफॉर्मेंस।
नहीं, नेडा कन्वीनर डॉक्टर हेमंत बिश्व शर्मा ने इस बात को स्पष्ट कर दिया है कि 2021 तक हमारा चुनाव, विधानसभा चुनाव तक हमारा उनके साथ अलायंस है। उसके बाद में पार्टी जो है हाईकमान और प्रदेश के जो नेतृत्व है वो मिलकर के आगे की रणनीति तय करेंगे।
Point taken. I'm really running out of time. It was an interesting discussion, but thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Mr. Dwijen Sharma, Abhinab, Borbora, Pramod, Swami, for joining me on Bottom Line. That's a wrap, viewers.